Good morning, students. Today we begin with the first chapter in commerce, chapter 1, historical background of commerce in the subcontinent. Now let's see the synopsis. Trade in Sangam period, trade in Pandyan period, coastal trade in ancient Tamil Nadu, role of government during ancient Tamil Nadu, contribution of Kautilya to trade, commerce and trade in North India, trade with Rome, China and Europe, barter system, constraints in barter system, hindrances of commerce or business. Now, the barter system and the constraints in the barter system, hindrances of commerce and business we will do in the next video. So in this video, we will learn till trade with Rome, China and Europe. Now let's see the trade in the Sangam period. Now we get to know of trade in Sangam period from the Sangam literature like the Tirukural and Purananur. Commerce. Now when we learn commerce, what is commerce? It is any activity that helps in trade. When we say trade, what does it mean? Buying and selling. Early Tamils, they produced their products in their land and bartered them. Vanigam, Vaniyam or Vanipam. Now we use this word from the Sangam literature and this word is of Dravidian origin. Now we get this word from the Sangam literature like Tirukural and Purananur. Okay, now let's see the trade in the Sangam period. Now the trade in Sangam period was both internal and external and the system they followed was the barter system. Trade was a major means of linking the various regions. Important items they traded were honey, roots, fruits, cattle, milk and milk products. The medium of exchange was mainly cattle, salt and paddy. Now let's see the trade in the Pandyan period. Now the information collected from the diaries of the foreign travelers, voyagers, mariners and adventurers of the ancient world highlighted the prosperity of trade in the Pandyan country. Now, let's see how it was. They traded in copper, cloth, salt, flour, sandalwood, fish, paddy, and pearls. They had infrastructure for shipping, example like ports, that is means the harbor, lighthouses, and warehouses. Then important ports at that time were Korkai, Salur, Kumari, Marungurpattinam. The place where the goods were sold was called Angadi, the day market was called Nalangadi, and the night market was called Alangadi. Now let's see the coastal trade in the nation Tamil Nadu. Now people of the coastal region, they engaged themselves in coastal trade and developed their intercontinental trade contacts. Now, let's see them. Now, the South Coromandel coast had seaside towns, and the big cities like Puhampur had an inland town which was known as Maruvapakka and the coastal town which is known as Patinapakka. These towns had markets for buying and selling of commodities. The port towns were Tondi, Korkai, Puhar, and Muziri. They also had intercontinental trade contacts. Now let's look at the role of government during ancient Tamil Nadu. The state played a very important role in trade during the ancient Tamil Nadu. Let's look at them. The role of the state in trade related to two aspects. Number one, they looked after the infrastructure. Second, they helped in trade and administration. They built roads known as Peruvali. The state protected the merchants from the robbers and wild animals. The state installed checkposts to collect customs. That is, customs when we say it means tolls or taxes along the highways and ports. Now let's look at the contribution of Kautilya to trade. Kautilya brought out history of marketing practiced some 2000 years ago. Now from Kautilya's information we come to know the economic condition in the Mauryan time. That is from Kautilya's Arthashastra. That is the name of the book which Kautilya had written. Trade was centralized. The state provided certain place for selling the commodities. The state charged taxes. The goods were allowed to be sold after payment of taxes. State took care of treasury. Treasury, when we say it means the funds, taxation, industry, commerce, and agriculture. Now let's look at the commerce and trade in North India. During the Sultanate period, trade flourished in North India. Now let's see some of the highlights. Balban was the first sultan to pave way in the dense forest. That is, pave way means to make a road for the export and import of trade. Alauddin Khilji, he encouraged import of foreign goods from Persia. The important trade centers at that time were Delhi, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Sonar, Jaunpur, Lahore. And India imported dry fruits, horses, precious stones, glassware, raw silk, scented oils, velvets. And India exported handicraft items. India exported to East Africa, China, and so other intercontinental areas. The Mangalore controlled the major business sectors in port cities. And now we come to the trade with Rome, China, and Europe. Vasco da Gama, he discovered a new sea route from Europe to India. Now, this gave a way for the trade with the Europeans. Now, first the Portuguese came to India and then the European communities. They gained control over the maritime. Maritime, when we say it is a sea or the ocean trade. And Britishers made policies stopping the export of some of the popular goods like handicrafts, textiles. Now that's all for today. Thank you, students. Have a happy learning section.